You always have the freedom to withhold judgment. Marcus Aurelius. Pause on that thought. How often have your emotions, be it rage, irritation, or sorrow, stemmed not from events themselves, but from how you perceived them? A dismissive remark, an outcome that didn't favor you, an incident that felt deeply unjust. We react instinctively. We snap, shut down, or fume. But from the Stoic view, none of these situations hold true power over us unless we give it to them. Anger is one of the most harmful emotions. It doesn't just lash out, it corrodes from within. It clouds peace, blurs logic, and dims awareness. It turns you into a puppet for external circumstances, exactly the kind of vulnerability Stoicism trains us to avoid. Because real strength, according to the Stoics, isn't about dominating others. It's about reigning over yourself. As Epictetus put it, it's not the event, but your reaction to it that matters. This means regardless of someone's actions or words, no matter what fate throws at you, your emotional stability remains under your command. You may feel the sting of anger rise, but you alone decide what lingers in your thoughts and what dissipates like mist. So today, I'm offering 8 timeless Stoic strategies that help me, and thousands more, escape the anger trap. It's not a shortcut, it's a path. But if you stay with me, by the end you'll carry a complete guide to serenity. And if something here speaks to you, comment below. My peace is mine alone to protect. I read every response and would love to hear yours. Rule 1. Distinguish what occurred from the meaning you attach. Seneca wrote, "We are more often frightened than harmed, and we suffer more in imagination than in truth." The same applies to anger. What unsettles us is rarely the incident. It's the interpretation we assign. Think of it. Someone swerves in front of you in traffic. Instantly you might think, how disrespectful, they endangered me. People are reckless. But what if you chose a different narrative? Maybe they're heading to an emergency. Maybe they simply didn't notice you. Maybe, yes, they were careless. But why should their carelessness hijack your peace? The Stoics believed that no situation is inherently positive or negative. We give it color through judgment. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself often, if something external troubles you, the distress isn't from the thing itself, but from your judgment. And this you can revoke at will. Let that sink in. Every moment you sense irritation boiling up, ask, am I disturbed by what just happened, or by the way I'm interpreting it? That question alone can transform the trajectory of your day. Steps to put this into practice. Pause before reacting. When irritation arises, commit to taking 3 full breaths before responding. Those few seconds are your leverage point, the window where clarity can re-enter. Shift the narrative. Instead of telling yourself, this is so unfair, try asking, what if this situation has nothing to do with me? Detach the story from the facts. Remind yourself, the occurrence is neutral. The way I perceive it is voluntary. When you start decoupling situations from interpretations, you reclaim the power to choose calm over chaos. You stop being governed by others' actions and begin living as the custodian of your internal peace. Remember, anger doesn't avenge the wrong done to you. It punishes you. It erodes your clarity, poisons your joy, and disarms your reason. Why surrender your mental state so easily? Picture yourself as a tall oak in the heart of a storm. Winds howl, rain lashes down, but you remain steady and unmoved. The storm comes and goes. Your strength, however, stands firm. Affirmation. Comment this below. Only I hold the keys to my inner calm. Rule 2. Expect people to behave like people. Marcus Aurelius began each morning with this reflection. Today I shall encounter interference, selfishness, arrogance, deceit, envy, and hostility. These qualities exist in people who cannot distinguish right from wrong. Why would the ruler of the greatest empire begin his day meditating on human flaws? Because he understood a truth many of us overlook. If you expect ideal behavior from flawed beings, you will live in a constant state of disappointment and agitation. People lie. People are careless. People cheat. And yes, sometimes people are cruel. Expecting anything else sets you up to be emotionally blindsided again and again. But when you accept imperfection as the norm, flaws lose their shock value. You no longer react with outrage. You respond with understanding. Think of it this way. If a child spills something or speaks out of turn, do you erupt in fury? Of course not. You correct gently, knowing it's a part of growth. But when adults stumble, we forget this patience. We assume they should always know better. And when they don't, we erupt. The Stoics challenge this mindset. Anticipate human shortcomings, and you disarm their ability to disturb your peace. Seneca offers this insight. It's far nobler to heal than to seek retaliation for injury. Retribution wastes time and drags you down to the same level as those who wronged you. His point is clear. When others reveal their ignorance, hostility, or pettiness, your role isn't to meet them in the mud. It's to remain rooted in integrity. Here's how to make this practical. Mental rehearsal each morning. Before stepping into your day, remind yourself, I will cross paths with people who may be rude, selfish, or dismissive. But none of this has the power to disturb my peace unless I let it. This daily mental script steals your mind and prevents you from being caught off guard. Choose to see ignorance, not evil. When someone lashes out or insults you, recall Marcus's reminder. They act this way because they cannot discern right from wrong. It's not malice, it's a lack of wisdom. Why be enraged by someone who hasn't yet matured? Reduce the weight of expectations. Expecting perfection is fantasy. Anticipating missteps is clarity. When you no longer place unrealistic expectations on others, their mistakes won't sting. They'll simply affirm what you already prepared for. People are human. Cultivate compassion, not rage. Recognizing human imperfection doesn't mean tolerating abuse. It means responding without internal combustion. You can correct, you can walk away, you can draw the line, but you can do so calmly, without bitterness clouding your judgment. Imagine navigating a busy street. You're bumped, someone cuts the line, another person talks too loud. Do you rage at each? Or do you accept this is the nature of crowds? Life, too, is filled with crowds. When you drop the illusion that people should behave ideally, you drop the triggers that lead to endless frustration. Peace isn't the outcome of fixing everyone around you. It's the result of adjusting what you expect. You cannot rewrite human nature, but you can prepare for it. And preparation is everything. So next time someone behaves poorly, don't boil over. Instead, calmly acknowledge, I foresaw this. Their behavior doesn't belong to me, because people will remain flawed until your final breath. If you're waiting for a world where no one annoys you, you're waiting for something that doesn't exist. But once you embrace human messiness, peace becomes possible. And when you stop being surprised, you stop being rattled. That's not weakness, that's resilience. True strength isn't measured by how forcefully you retaliate. It's measured by how quietly you endure without losing your center. Marcus understood this. He expected flaws to protect his peace. You can do the same. Affirmation. Drop it in the comments. I expect imperfection and I choose inner stillness. Rule 3. Take charge of the voice within. Epictetus once stated, "People aren't troubled by events, but by their interpretations." This is one of the deepest Stoic insights. The voice echoing in your mind, the one narrating, judging, and dissecting everything, determines whether you burn with fury or remain calm and grounded. It's not the insult itself that wounds you, but how often you replay it. It's not the setback that drains your spirit, but the narrative you keep looping in your thoughts. The Stoics recognized this. Suffering doesn't come from the world. It's born in the dialogue we carry about the world. And if you're serious about liberating yourself from anger and emotional chaos, you must learn to lead that voice instead of being led by it. Picture this. A stranger mutters something offensive in a language you don't understand. Do you get upset? Of course not. The insult never registered in your inner world. But if those same words come in your native tongue, your mind picks them up and starts spinning. It isn't the insult that stings, it's the meaning you attach to it, the story your inner voice starts scripting. So, how do you train that voice? The Stoics offer us 3 core disciplines to reclaim our mental dialogue. 1. Intercept the initial reaction. Anger often enters through a single thought. They disrespected me. This is unacceptable. Intercept that thought as soon as it arrives. Don't allow it to blossom into a full narrative. Recognize this is only a perception, not a fact. Catch it early, and you stop it from growing into a storm. 2. Replace the thought. Don't replay it. Repetition strengthens the emotion. If you keep hearing, "I can't believe they did this to me," you're nurturing resentment. Instead, feed your mind a stronger line. They acted from their nature, not mine. My response is my power. These simple replacements dismantle the cycle of rage. 3. Be a mentor, not a critic. Too often, our inner dialogue becomes a battlefield, filled with harshness and blame. But wisdom speaks differently. Speak to yourself like a steady guide would. Will this anger help or harm me? Can I let this go instead of letting it grow? Guide yourself like a friend, not a judge. Seneca reminds us, more often, it's our imagination that wounds us, far more than reality ever could. And the imagination rides on the back of our inner voice. If that voice remains undisciplined, it becomes your greatest saboteur. But once mastered, it becomes your shield. Here's a simple way to begin retraining your thoughts. Each evening, look back on your day. Ask, where did my thoughts deceive me? Where did I blow things out of proportion? Then rewrite those moments with wiser language. Teach your mind to speak more truthfully the next day. Another powerful practice, journaling. Marcus Aurelius didn't write to impress others. He wrote to realign himself with reason. He wrote to quiet his mind and sharpen his inner compass. You can do the same. Each time anger lingers, write it out. Then ask, what belief or judgment made this worse? Challenge that belief. Reframe it. Speak a calmer truth. Because here's the deal. The mind is like a stage. If you let angry scripts play uninterrupted, they'll hijack the entire performance. But if you revise the script with logic and serenity, rage loses its role. Next time your blood starts to boil, step back and ask, what exactly am I telling myself right now? And more importantly, is that thought helping me or hurting me? Because most of the time, it isn't the insult, the delay, or the problem that's hurting you. It's your own mind echoing the pain over and over. Take control of that voice, and you take control of your peace. Nothing external can shake you unless your own mind chooses to grant it permission. That's why Epictetus declared, You may shackle my limbs, but even the gods can't bind my will. Freedom begins with your inner voice. Make it calm. Make it wise. Make it yours. Affirmation. Drop it in the comments. My inner voice is my compass. I guide it with wisdom. Rule 4. Embrace the power of the pause. Though not a Stoic by title, Viktor Frankl echoed their wisdom when he wrote, "Between what happens and how you respond, there's a space. And within that space lies your freedom and your growth." This single concept is a master key for emotional freedom, because anger thrives on immediacy. It survives on snap reactions. A sharp comment is made, and you lash back. A disruption hits, and you explode. A betrayal is uncovered, and you charge headfirst into rage. But if you can create even a sliver of stillness between what occurs and how you react, you strip anger of its grip. The Stoics were experts in this pause. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself often, "You have power over your thoughts, not the external world." Grasp this truth, and strength will follow. That strength begins the moment you refuse to react on autopilot. Let's bring this into real life. Scenario 1. Public insult. You're put on the spot. Someone belittles you in front of others. The default impulse: retaliate, retreat, or feel ashamed. But what if, in that moment, you choose silence? 3 intentional breaths. Inhale, exhale, and in that breath you remind yourself, their words mean nothing unless I decide they do. Now, you're not dragged into the drama. You rise above it. Scenario 2. Traffic jam and stress. You're already behind schedule. The car ahead is crawling. Tension builds. Most would curse, honk, spiral, but instead, you pause. You breathe. You remind yourself, I don't control this situation, but I do control whether I lose my calm. In that pause, chaos becomes manageable. The pause isn't weakness. It's evidence of command. It's proof that you're no longer ruled by instinct, but led by intention. Here's how to embed this reflex into your daily life. Use your breath as your anchor. Each time you feel your emotions spike, take 3 long breaths before reacting. These breaths form a bridge between reactivity and wisdom. Set mental reminders. Have a phrase ready to deploy in heated moments. This is noise, not truth. I don't trade peace for provocation. These mantras help you buy time when the world tries to steal your calm. Hold your reply. Whether it's a message, a conversation, or a confrontation, practice waiting. Let minutes or even hours pass before you respond. You'll see that many triggers lose their urgency once they're given space to fade. Train in minor moments. You don't need major conflicts to strengthen this skill. Practice with life's daily annoyances. Spilled coffee, last-minute changes, noisy environments. These are low-risk opportunities to build high-level control. Seneca said it best, "The finest cure for anger is delay," because anger is a fire, and fire feeds on fuel. If you react instantly, the blaze spreads. But if you pause, the flames start to die on their own. Here's the truth. Society expects explosions. They expect shouting when disrespected, slamming doors when annoyed, lashing out when hurt. But when you offer calm instead, it disarms everyone. It shows you're not programmable. You can't be baited. That's power. Creating pause isn't just avoiding conflict. It's reclaiming your humanity. It's standing in defiance of reflex. It's saying, I am not a creature of impulse. I am a being of choice. And in that choice, your liberation begins. So next time your emotions flare, don't ask, how do I crush this anger? Ask instead, can I pause long enough to let reason speak first? Because anger feeds on speed. but wisdom breathes in stillness. Affirmation, share it below. In stillness, I regain my strength. Rule 5. Don't internalize what isn't yours. Epictetus advised, if someone speaks ill of you, remember, they believe they're right in doing so. The harm lies not in their words, but in how you receive them. This insight is essential for breaking free from anger. Most of the time, when someone offends, mocks, or criticizes us, we absorb their words like daggers to the chest. But here's the truth. Those attacks usually say more about the attacker than they ever will about you. Let's put it plainly. If someone is bitter, that bitterness leaks out. If someone is insecure, they lash out to feel bigger. If someone is miserable, they aim their misery at whoever's nearest. When you understand this, insults become reflections, not wounds. Reflections of their internal chaos, not evidence of your worth. Seneca once observed, "A person who suffers before it's necessary suffers more than needed." When someone hurls criticism, you suffer twice. Once when they say it, and again every time you replay it. But what if you refuse to replay it? What if you recognize their words as noise, not truth? Let's break this down into practice. 1. Redefine what it means to be insulted. Instead of saying, "they hurt me," try seeing it as, "they revealed themselves." Their words expose their own bitterness, ignorance, or pain, not your identity. 2. Choose indifference. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself, "Choose not to be harmed, and you won't be. Don't feel injured, and you haven't been. An insult only holds weight if you let it linger. It dies the moment you decide not to carry it." 3. Detach your value from opinion. Imagine holding a flawless gem. Someone calls it worthless. Does that change its value? Of course not. Your worth isn't up for debate. Their view is just a sound, passing through air. 4. Respond with silence. Nothing dismantles an insult like not reacting. Quiet is power. When you don't engage, it shows that their words have no grip on you. It unsettles them, but more importantly, it protects you. Let's be honest, words can sting. Cruel jokes, gossip, dismissal. The impulse is to clap back, to defend, to argue, to match energy. But when you do, you give them double victory, once by speaking and again by dragging you into their storm. Now picture this. Someone tries to hand you a burning object. If you grab it, you're the one scorched. If you let it fall, it never touches you. Insults are the same. They burn only if you hold on. Marcus Aurelius offered himself this advice. When you're blamed, hated, or criticized, examine their soul. Consider who they are. Once you see clearly, you'll realize there's no need to worry about their judgment. This is transformative. Instead of asking, "Why did they say that to me?" ask, "What kind of inner world must they live in to speak this way?" The answer often shows you it's not about you. It never was. So next time someone throws their venom your way, stand tall, stay composed, tell yourself, "This isn't mine to carry." And let the words fall right back to where they came from, their own unresolved turmoil. Because here's the empowering truth. When you stop taking things personally, you become immune. They can mock, accuse, or insult, but they can't shake you unless you give permission. The wise don't wrestle with shadows. They walk forward, untouched. Affirmation. Drop it in the comments. Their words aren't mine to carry. Rule 6. Release it before it burns you. Seneca wisely warned, "Uncontrolled anger often causes more damage than the offense that sparked it." The issue isn't that we get angry. The problem is we hold on to it. We replay the moment again and again. We relive the insult. We nurture the resentment. And little by little, it infects everything: our thoughts, our peace, our relationships. But to the Stoics, this kind of emotional hoarding was self-inflicted suffering. The situation may have happened once, but by clinging to it, we make ourselves endure it over and over again. If you truly want to stop being ruled by rage or agitation, you must learn to let go, swiftly and fully. Not later, not tomorrow. Now, before it seeps deeper into your mind. Anger is like carrying a hot stone. The longer you hold it, the more it burns. Yet many of us refuse to drop it, believing it gives us power or justice. But in truth, we're only burning ourselves. Marcus Aurelius put it simply: the best revenge is to not become like those who harm you. By holding on to anger, we mirror those who wronged us. But by letting go, we elevate ourselves. We reclaim our dignity. We break the chain. So how do we drop what weighs us down? 1. Acknowledge you're holding it. Start by naming the emotion. Say to yourself, I am still carrying this anger. We often disguise it as moral righteousness or a sense of fairness, but call it what it is. Honesty is step 1 to release. 2. Refuse the second wound. The first hurt is what happened. The second is what you do to yourself by clinging to it. Ask, why should I keep suffering from something that's already done? End the second injury. Let the original moment stand alone. 3rd, shift into motion. If there's something you can do to resolve it, take action. If not, make peace with what is and move forward. Anger left idle becomes poison. Redirect it into purpose. Let it become fuel, not fire. 4. Practice mental release. Picture the anger as a heavy stone in your palm. Now visualize yourself opening your hand and letting it fall. Let your mind follow the image. Sometimes the body needs permission to let go before the heart can follow. Seneca also wrote, anger, if allowed to linger, behaves like a toxin. The longer it stays in the bloodstream, the more it clouds the mind, infects the soul, and damages what you love. Letting go quickly is not a sign of weakness. It's the ultimate act of wisdom. Imagine this. You have an argument. Emotions flare. Harsh words are exchanged. Later that night, the other person sleeps soundly. But you lie awake, repeating the scene, rewriting your responses, reliving the pain. Who suffers more? Not them. You. Holding on to anger is choosing to suffer for someone else's behavior. But what if you chose freedom instead? What if you said, it's over. It happened. I'm not carrying it into the next moment. That shift is like taking off a heavy backpack. Suddenly you can breathe again. The present returns. Clarity returns. You return. Marcus Aurelius once reminded himself, you could leave life at any moment. Let that guide your thoughts, actions, and speech. Ask yourself honestly, if today were your last, would you want to spend it reliving that insult? Would you waste it holding bitterness towards someone who may not even remember? Letting go is not about being passive. It's about being free. It means you refuse to let others hurt you twice. They may have wounded you once, but they don't get to keep wounding you in your thoughts. So next time anger rises and begs to stay, ask, do I want to keep gripping this burning stone, or will I drop it now? Because the sooner you let go, the lighter your spirit becomes. Affirmation, post it below. I release what no longer serves me. Rule 7. See the challenge as your coach. Marcus Aurelius once declared, the obstacle to action becomes the action. What blocks the path becomes the path. This is one of the most empowering truths in Stoic thought. It means that adversity isn't your enemy, it's your training partner. Every insult, every annoyance, every roadblock is not a curse, it's a curriculum. Life isn't out to sabotage you, it's trying to shape you. Here's where most of us go wrong. We treat problems like personal attacks. Someone disrespects us, and we feel targeted. A delay occurs, and we feel punished. Something interrupts our plan, and we see it as unfair. But the Stoics taught that the road of life was never supposed to be smooth. The bumps and detours, that's where strength is forged. So pause and ask, why does anger rise in the first place? It usually comes when life doesn't follow the script you had in mind. But if you flip the script and ask instead, what is this teaching me? The irritation weakens. Suddenly the situation becomes your training ground. The hardship becomes your personal gym. Seneca said, difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body. Muscles grow by lifting resistance. Character grows by carrying setbacks. You wouldn't grow stronger by sitting in comfort, and neither would your emotional fortitude. Think about it. If no one ever tested your patience, how would you learn it? If no one opposed you, how would you develop persistence? If nothing ever failed, how would you cultivate acceptance? Here's how to start turning friction into fuel. 1. Ask the right question. When frustration appears, don't ask, why is this happening to me? Ask instead, what quality is life inviting me to build right now? Patience, forgiveness, adaptability. That one mental pivot turns a setback into strength training. 2. Change how you see disruption. When something throws off your plan, don't say, this ruins everything. Instead say, this is part of my growth. Every obstacle becomes a weight, and you're getting stronger every time you lift it. 3. Focus on the gain, not the wound. Even when something hurts, look for the value inside the pain. An insult may bruise, but it builds thick skin. A betrayal may sting, but it sharpens discernment. A delay may frustrate, but it deepens your patience. Let's go deeper with examples. Imagine someone breaks your trust. The typical reaction is rage. But what if you paused and asked, what lesson is hidden here? What does this show me about trust, about boundaries, about emotional resilience? The pain turns into protection. You grow not from the betrayal, but from how you responded to it. Or think about a major opportunity slipping away after all your effort. Most would sink into anger or bitterness. But the Stoic lens says, this is training in surrender. This is practice in letting go. This is preparation for something even greater. You weren't broken, you were reinforced. Marcus Aurelius lived this daily. As emperor, he faced war, plague, rebellion, and betrayal. And yet, instead of breaking down, he wrote in his journal, what stands in the way becomes the way. Each hardship was another stepping stone to inner mastery. And when you start to see your setbacks that way, something radical happens. You stop being caught off guard. You stop asking, why me? Instead, you meet life with readiness, wisdom, and strength. Because here's the truth. Obstacles are permanent residents in life. People will mess up. Plans will collapse. Surprises will come. You can't stop the storm, but you can learn to ride the waves. So when anger creeps in because life didn't go your way, stop and ask, what lesson is this delivering to me? And remember, the challenge isn't against you, it's for you. The setback isn't punishment, it's preparation. And once you see that, everything becomes meaningful. Every moment becomes usable. Even your frustration becomes fuel. You no longer resist life, you partner with it. You rise above reactivity and live with intention. You become unshakable. Affirmation. Leave it in the comments. Every challenge sharpens me. Nothing is wasted. Rule 8. stay grounded in the present. Seneca once observed, "We often torment ourselves more through imagination than actual experience." This is a cornerstone Stoic principle, and it holds the key to freeing yourself from unnecessary anger and stress. Because here's the truth. Most of what disturbs you isn't happening right now. It's something your mind has dragged in from the past or projected into the future. Think about it. Someone upset you yesterday, and you're still replaying it today. You imagine someone might betray you next week, and you start spiraling before anything has happened. Meanwhile, the event itself is already over or hasn't even arrived. But inside your mind, you're living it again and again. That's where frustration finds fertile ground. Not in reality, but in memory, in expectation, in mental movies. The Stoics taught that your true power only exists in the now. You can't revise the past. You can't control what's ahead. But right now, in this moment, you can decide what to focus on, what to feel, and what to do. Returning to the present is like dropping anchor in stormy waters. It doesn't stop the waves, but it keeps you steady while they pass. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily, "Keep your attention rooted in what's happening now, because by staying here, in this very second, you don't feed your anger with imagined wounds. You cut off the fuel supply." So how do you put this into action? 1. Catch yourself drifting. Anger often sneaks in when your mind time travels, either to past regrets or future fears. The moment you feel your emotions rising, pause and ask, where am I mentally? Am I here or somewhere else? That self-awareness is your first anchor. 2. Return to your senses. Ground yourself using the present moment. Notice what you can see, hear, smell, feel. Touch the ground beneath your feet. Feel your breath moving in and out. These physical cues pull your awareness back to the only place where peace exists, now. 3. Ask, what can I do right now? When frustration builds, redirect your mind toward action. Even small actions can restore a sense of control and clarity. What step can you take? What decision can you make that helps, not hurts, your state of mind? 4. Let go of should-haves. Anger often lives in unmet expectations. They shouldn't have done that. This shouldn't have happened. But Stoicism reminds us reality doesn't follow our preferences. Life unfolds as it will, not as we wish. Acceptance isn't resignation, it's liberation. 5. Practice presence daily. Start or end your day with a short moment of mindfulness. Sit in silence, focus on your breath. Even 5 minutes of attention training rewires your brain to stay grounded in the now. Over time, presence becomes your default rather than rumination. When you live fully in the present, the power of imagined slights fades. A sarcastic comment is just sound. A late reply is just a pause. The traffic, the delay, the inconvenience, they lose their emotional grip. It's not the world that's upsetting you. It's your mind reinterpreting events through outdated or future-focused lenses. Epictetus said, "Don't demand that things happen as you wish. Wish that they happen as they do, and you'll thrive." This is the essence of being present, welcoming life as it is, not resisting it based on how you thought it should be. Anger lives in shadows, the shadow of what was, the shadow of what might be. Peace lives in light, the light of what's real, right here. When you live rooted in now, you become immune to imagined pain. The world may still provoke you, but your calm will remain untouched. So next time tension rises, ask, am I upset by what's actually happening, or by something that lives only in my head? Bring yourself back. Feel your breath, feel your body, be here, and watch your anger dissolve before it even has the chance to settle in. Affirmation, share it in the comments. I stay in the present because that's where peace lives. The journey comes full circle. Through this path, you've unlocked the timeless Stoic roadmap for rising above anger and emotional chaos. Separate the event from your judgment. Expect people to behave imperfectly. Train the voice inside your mind. Pause before reacting. Don't take other people's poison personally. Let go quickly before it grips you. Turn every setback into your teacher. Anchor yourself in the now. The Stoics taught that no one can hurt you unless you give them access to your inner world. Every slight, every insult, every disappointment, it all remains neutral until your mind colors it. By choosing what you perceive, what you expect, and how you respond, you stop being a prisoner of reaction and become the architect of your inner world. Anger is a thief. It robs you of focus, of joy, of reason. But these tools you've just practiced, they make you untouchable. You no longer hand over your power to circumstances or people. You stand calm in storms. You learn from hardship. You drop what doesn't serve you. You live in the moment. You become deliberate in thought, in speech, in emotion. That's not avoidance. That's mastery. Life will continue testing you. But no storm can overpower a mind rooted in clarity, calm, and discipline. Start today. Apply these tools in the small irritations, the everyday moments. Because if you master those, the big ones won't shake you either. And when anger knocks, you won't answer with rage. You'll answer with reason. You'll answer with stillness. You'll answer like a Stoic. Final affirmation, leave it below. I am untouchable, anchored, and at peace. If this resonated with you, like, comment, and share. Not because the world has changed, but because now you have.